Good Friday afternoon.
Hey,
There you are.
there I am.
And
Now
you can hear
I'm
me.
at disclosed location, not an
Disclosed.
undisclosed.
Hi, by the way. My name is Darren. This over here is Victor, and we are the... What are we? We're the co-hosts of...
Yes, there's something. Something.
Take two. We are the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox, and on Fridays we do this live stream most times. Will be for the next few weeks at least, because you're not going anywhere. Oh, wait. Next week you're gone, aren't you?
No, I'm going this Sunday.
Oh, but I thought you were gone next Friday too. Doesn't matter.
I'm going the week after next as well. I'm going twice to Berlin. 2 weeks, 2 times to Berlin.
And you're going to come... Well, that's not far for you, is it? 2
No,
hours, 3 hours?
3 hours, something
Yeah,
like
okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like me going to Texas. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you need to just go through 4 or 5 countries and you're already there. That's 2-3 hours in Europe.
What was your week like?
My week was, I don't know, busy, so I don't even know what happened, to be honest.
It's Friday now, right? That's the problem.
It's
You turn around. Like Monday goes slow. Tuesday speeds up a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's Friday.
For me, it's one of those weeks, A, I know that I was extremely busy. B, if you ask me what I did, I have no idea.
I have to look at my calendar and look at my notebook to figure out what I did this week. Miroslav, good to see you. Thanks for being here with us today. Let's just get into it. Do you have your drink?
Yeah.
Do you have your drink? Did you get
Yeah,
your drink?
yeah, here, Coke. No alcohol this time.
That's
I'm
good.
becoming responsible. I'll have alcohol after this session.
So our podcast, where is it? There it is. Our podcast this week was What is Kubecost? Or, which now should be labeled, I could have probably done it, What is OpenCost?
Yeah.
So, because they launched OpenCost 2 weeks ago? Maybe? 2 or 3 weeks ago. Pretty recent.
Like that, yeah.
We talked with Webb Brown, who's on staff co-founder at Kubecost, and FinOps. FinOps is showing up everywhere now, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody, all of a sudden people care about how much something costs. Strange.
It's almost like they never cared before.
Of course they didn't, because once you buy something and put it in your data center, why do you care?
But now, if you're in cloud, you care.
I mean, you should have cared before as well. Those servers cost. And the people managing your servers cost more than servers.
Yeah, and one thing, we talked about that. The one thing we didn't talk about was actually when you add new servers to your warehouse, what if you didn't have enough power? And what if you then had to call the power company to up your service, bring in new transformers? And you call,
Or it's not only power. I mean, you need a network connection. You need a bunch of things. Not easy.
No. But anyway, Kubecost is a tool. You install it in your cluster. And at the time we recorded it, it would give you about 16 different optimizations you could do. So, and you did a video on this, I believe,
Yeah, it's
quite a while back.
It's awesome. It's at least at the time it was expensive, but you know, if it's going to save you money, then it's not expensive.
Right.
That way.
Well, that was one thing that Webb was talking about, is he said for some people that were running this, they were only utilizing about 8% of how much they were spending. Single digit, right? So on a $100,000 spend, in theory, they could get it bumped down to $8,000.
I mean, I don't have the numbers that he has,
Yeah.
but from anecdotal experience, companies I worked with in the past, yeah, it's underutilized and a lot, very, very underutilized, typically what companies have.
Yep.
And yet people are always complaining that they don't have enough. Imagine that.
I know. I rewatched the video you did about it after listening to the podcast, going back to the video you did. Does it also account for network cost that pods produce when having multi-zone region or just storage ROMs? He did talk about network cost. But there was some kind of magic math going on, if I remember correctly. And it's been a while.
It's all about predictions. I mean, they cannot know exactly what it's going to cost. I mean, nobody can know, right? But it's getting close to it.
Okay. So let's move on from that. Podcast comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, noon CET, every Wednesday. And in fact, we are now scheduled, I cannot believe this, we are scheduled through the end of September. It's amazing. We're not recorded through the end of September, but we're scheduled through. What's this question? So, how can you underutilize your resources if you use Autoscalers? Even if you're using Autoscalers, you still could run into that because maybe you're running too many replicas. Are you still there, Victor, or are you gone? I can't tell if you're there or not. No, you're there. You're muted, though.
Autoscaler alone will not, assuming that you're talking about horizontal pod autoscaler, it's not going to tell you how much CPU and memory you should assign. So I might say my replica needs 5 gigs of RAM, and realistically it's using only half a gig. That's underutilized. You can use vertical pod autoscaler, but then you don't get horizontal pod autoscaler, at least not easily. Then you're not scaling horizontally. And not all applications scale to begin with, in both directions.
Right. So anyway, let's go to probably one of the happiest announcements I saw for the week. Internet Explorer 11 is now officially out of support. When's the last time you used Internet Explorer, specifically 11?
Hey, you could have said version 57, and I would equally be oblivious about what version that is.
Yeah. So Internet Explorer over 25 years. It was technically 27 years.
Wait, was it Microsoft that actually knew Explorers, or it's called something else and now based on Chromium?
Edge, correct. It's based on Chromium.
Edge, okay.
Edge,
okay.
yeah.
So
which is it's actually
Windows
a pretty good browser.
Is now Edge, right? Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Internet Explorer is actually dead, kind of as a
Yes.
product, no matter the version, right? Okay.
Well, it's officially retired and out of support as of June 15th. However, it's going to be. I read something, or I was listening to a podcast the other day with people that follow Microsoft close, and there's some sort of weird support for it through 2029, I think.
I will never understand that. Why companies are willing to pay support as
here it
a way
is.
to invest.
We've committed to supporting IE mode in Edge. Okay, there we go. So there's basically an IE mode inside of Edge, and that's going to be supported till 2029.
There must be some old something that companies are using. Why would
This,
what the heck is
right
IE
here.
mode?
Well, it's probably like a compatibility mode inside of Edge.
Okay,
Because
so some web
we have-
application, internal web application designed 57 years ago, and it's cheaper to pay support than to actually retire the application. Brilliant.
Correct. Yep. COM controls. Do you even remember what a COM control is, right? You
I
had to do
remember it.
DCOM.
I
and
don't-
Okay. So that's
I
the
don't
reason
want to
why
know
it's there.
about it. Don't mention it.
Yeah. But anyway, IE as a standalone browser, you should have left 20 years ago. IE4 was such a pain. I remember that one. That was the last one I really had to code hard against that was bad. 5 wasn't bad, 6 wasn't bad, but 4 was miserable. So anyway, also semi-related under the same umbrella, but not really. The pre-built codespaces are now GA. They made the announcement a few weeks ago, and we covered it then, that codespaces doing pre-builts were in beta. Now it's GA. Of course, Gitpod has had this for how long now? Quite a while.
A lot. I mean, in that area, a lot. And a lot
Yeah.
probably means like 2 years, right?
Yeah. That's the thing is, I heard somebody else talking about this. When some of these companies, like Apple or Google, they may show up late to the party, but when they show up, it's pretty fully baked. Not always, but a lot of the times, it's been fully baked.
I mean, you don't want to show up late with something that is half-baked and competition has it already fully baked.
Right.
But
So anyway.
what Apple can do, and Microsoft and others, is show up late with give or take easily, similarly good product, fully baked, and kick competition out. That, yeah.
Right.
If
So
I
anyway,
would have money
wait, did you get
invested in-
access to CodeSpaces a couple weeks ago?
Yes. Video is coming
Okay.
to Monday.
Oh, is that the one coming next week? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Well, let's not talk about it because we can talk about that next week. So I want to hear an unbiased as much as you can, CodeSpaces versus Gitpod. I do want to hear that. I want to answer this question here before we move on, or attempt to answer this question. Any tools to help define how many resources to put in the YAML specs?
So you cannot figure out how many resources to put in the first version of YAML specs. Because until it is running, nobody knows how much is needed. Nobody. It's guesstimate. Now, once you run it, then you can, there are different ways how you can find out how much it really uses and then adjust resources. That you can do. You can do it with Prometheus or any monitoring tool. You can use vertical pod autoscaler as well. And if you don't want to scale your application vertically, you can still use vertical pod autoscaler in, I don't remember the exact name, info mode or something like that. In the mode that just gives you the information what it should be without changing the resources.
Pierre, hopefully that helped. It's a dice roll, right?
But nobody, doesn't matter even whether we're talking Kubernetes YAML or whatever we're talking, nobody could ever predict in advance how much something will consume. You need to run it somewhere.
Under load. Or, excuse me, not necessarily not load testing, but under normal production load.
Yeah, or I mean, maybe you can, without production load, at least run it somewhere and then you can extrapolate. Okay, so we've been running is staging under those conditions. I can make a better guesstimate how much it will use in production. At least it's a better guesstimate, right, than a typical guesstimate. By the way, have you seen this?
Here, let me zoom you in. I can see what it is. No. What happened?
Yeah, extreme sports.
What were you doing? Walking down the stairs?
No, ping pong.
Okay, what did you do? Did you break it?
No, I didn't break it. I don't know, something strange happened to it that was hard to look at. But nothing is broken.
In your ankle or in your foot?
On my ankle.
And now you have to get on a plane 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Have fun with that. No, I didn't see it. Well, maybe you should have checked with Grafana first. Because
okay.
No. I was trying to come up with a good segue and it just didn't work. Anyway, it just didn't work. So anyway, this week, Grafana had their GrafanaCon. I believe that's what it was called. And they have now open sourced OnCall. OnCall is their, how do we say it? They bought a mixer, I'm going to call it that. Forgive me if I said it incorrectly. And it was only a cloud-only solution. Grafana Cloud people got it. And then this was the paragraph that I was like, wait, a cloud company is actually thinking about people that can't use cloud? Isn't that brilliant? So we realized a hosted option wasn't the best on-call management solution for many in our community, whether this was because of security requirements, third-party sensitive data, that's probably the biggest one to me, or this one, remote locations with limited connectivity. I've worked out in the middle of Wyoming in a natural gas plant to where we had dial-up. Now, mind you, that was in the late 90s. But I still have some friends that work in that space, and they said we're scheduled to get internet into the plant in 2024 because it's so far out. You just can't pull it. Now, obviously, satellite will probably change all that.
Yeah, or just buy a couple of mobiles and hotspot.
No, there was no cell coverage out there.
Oh my.
So in order to get SCADA data back, we actually had, it was using low bandwidth. So SCADA is low bandwidth anyway. But that's all you could get. Anyway, now you can do on-call.
For the love of God, I don't understand how Grafana is earning money. Everything they do is open source, right? I don't think that, do they have anything enterprise? Is it all coming from, from cloud, right?
Let's see. There's the stack, self-managed.
It's all open source.
Well, let's see. Hang on a second. There's a requested demo, so there must be some money somewhere. Yeah, Grafana Enterprise Stack, right there.
Okay.
So yes, they still have ways to
Cool.
do that. Yes. Anyway. Hey, could I use Loki for non-Kubernetes workloads? I believe the answer is yes, right?
I'm guessing yes. I don't know yet. I mean, you can run Loki without Kubernetes, that's for sure. Now, I'm not sure whether you would just need to make sure that somehow you stream logs to Loki.
Right. I'm saying as long as I can stream logs to Loki, it doesn't matter where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I've got an idea that came to me on my walk this morning. So anyway, if you need an on-call solution and you don't want to pay the pager duties of the world, or you need to be offline and you need to self-manage, on-call open source is available now.
Nice.
This was, I think they had 3 announcements, and this was one of those 3. But that's on call.
But easily, it's one of those rare companies. You can easily imagine almost every product, if not every product, that they have being massively used by a significant portion of the industry, right?
I would think so.
I mean, Grafana itself, Loki is becoming a thing, kind of like. Prometheus is not there, but they're huge contributors. We have Graphite.
Tempo.
Mimir, okay. Tempo, yeah. Tempo is amazing. Mimir is the only one I'm not familiar with.
Well, let's look at it. We have a minute. Let's go see what it is. Oh, that was the thing they announced recently. It's the time series.
Okay, I get it. It's similar to...
I have a little multi-tenant long-term storage from Prometheus. So that's like,
exactly.
What's that called?
Like Victoria Metrics or like, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why you would build, if you had to build a stack, I don't know why you would build a stack that didn't use these tools.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the stack in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, visualization, metrics, logs, traces. Done. Okay, let's look at the pricing overview since we have a minute. Enterprise stack, call us. Okay, good. Custom pricing.
But remember, what is not in this price is that all those you can run yourself, and it's not even mentioned here, right?
Correct. Well, that's the other announcement they made this week was Grafana 9 and the features there. I didn't dig into that one as much. I wasn't as... to me, it was an incremental change versus the previous version. I'm sure it's much more than that, but it wasn't like super wow type deal. It's not like when the M1 chip was announced. It wasn't that level of change. And no, I still haven't ordered a new machine yet. Google had a couple of announcements this week. One that I thought was interesting was a new CLI called GCP Diag to help troubleshoot GCP. You install it, you point it at the project, and it goes off and figures out the good things and the bad things. It ships with more than 70 rules that detect common issues encountered by cloud support team troubleshooting customer issues. So basically, this is the ability to, I'm guessing, generate a support bundle on your project in real time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's similar, probably kind of Google specific and similar to Troubleshoot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Without having to ship off a bundle to, it's already Google because it's GCP, but you're not having to wait for it. It's just giving it to you in real time.
That's amazing because Google is notoriously bad with customers. Customer support is kind of notoriously bad in Google. So, hey, you can skip notoriously bad support.
For 70 rules.
For 70 rows, yeah.
So that's GCP Diag. So if you're using Google, check that out. And then the other one that I saw that was more of a GKE related was Confidential GKE Nodes.
What is that?
So what this is, and it's GA, so they've been talking about it for a while. So while benefits of containers and Kubernetes can outweigh traditional architectures, blah, 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 moving to those often entails careful planning to minimize risk and potential data exposure. To help the security of that, confidential. So what confidential is it's all encrypted. It's a confidential VM, sort of like FIPS, but not FIPS. And it also has secure virtualization.
Nice. It's one of those things that, when it's painful to set it up, you might say no. But if it becomes just as easy as not using it, then you remove the excuse.
It's a checkbox.
I'm pretty sure that comes at additional cost, though, but
sure.
I'll ignore that.
But
it makes...
if you need to lock down stuff to that level, you understand that that's going to cost you more money. Or you should at least. But yeah, it's a checkbox. So, I'm assuming from the CLI or from Terraform, it's just going to be another attribute you set.
Yep.
That's really nice.
Nice.
Okay, so those were Google's. And Kubevious, which you've done a video on, and we talked about them back in October. Was it October of last year or year before last? I don't remember. But we talked about Kubevious.
It's a curious one. It's kind of different approach. I like when somebody tries something different.
So all the links for everything we're talking about today are going to be down in the description of the video later today or tomorrow. This one you'll want to read a little bit because it's very dense. It's not hard. It's not a hard read, but it's going to be hard for me to sort of summarize it. Because they go into some stories of, like, if you haven't heard of this one, for example, in a recent discovery, nearly 500,000 Kubernetes servers were left open to the internet as a result of a misconfiguration. Right? That's just not good. Or a simple typo brings down an entire application globally. Right? Those kinds of things happen. Let me scroll down to, there's an animation here that happens. So basically, as your process is running, and again, this is more in a push type scenario, I guess. When it applies, of course, it renders here too fast. But basically what it's doing, it's sort of like an emission webhook. In fact, that gets into it right here. It's like, oh, this looks like a validating emission webhook. But to do it cross-manifest. So it's not just that it applies to you, but how does what you're getting ready to put in affect everything else that's running within the cluster? So that's what it appears that it's going to be. So Kubevious, as it has stood up to this point, it's just not real sure what's going to happen from this point, right? It's still there, but how is it going to be changing?
Yep. Nice. Another thing to do.
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's probably on your list now. But it's just a plugin for, wait, what was it? No, I was thinking about a different tool that was adding in a plugin to kubectl. But I know that's not it. So anyway, this one to me looks really interesting. Just from a, how can we say this? Just so you don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
That's, no, or drop a ping pong ball on your foot. Sorry, that was too easy to say.
But that's kind of the area that is, again, kind of, we see that in news, we see that in conferences, we see that everywhere. It's security, 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 in a very broad sense of word, right? Somehow making it more secure, one way or another. I wonder what will happen next year when everybody realizes that market is saturated.
Well, I mean, this paragraph, I think, is probably, if I was going to boil it down, it's this paragraph. We learned from the feedback that the viewer that displays issues is not enough, which is what Kubevious did, right? It just gave you the list. Here's the issues. They don't want to see errors and violations in the UI. They just want those breaking changes not to get in the cluster in the first place.
That's not correct.
Really?
No, I don't want breaking changes not to enter the cluster. I want breaking changes to be fixed. I want pull requests with fixes. I want recommendations what to do. I don't want to kind of say, okay, so what? Before I was having issues in cluster. Now I cannot apply issues, but I'm equally oblivious how to fix them. I mean, it's better not to reach the cluster than to be in cluster. I have no doubt about that.
Correct. It's a good first step. So if they said the first step to this is not allow them in.
I want something like, this is wrong, do this.
Right. With a PR.
Whomever tells me what to do. I mean, PR, great.
Something.
If it's not
Slack.
PR, just kind of like give me a snippet and say copy and paste this. And I'll figure it out where to copy, what is the report, right? Doesn't even have to be PR. But tell me what to do. Don't depress me with information how stupid it is what I'm doing. Tell me what to do.
So you can stop me, but you need to tell me what to do in order to not be stopped again.
Exactly. It's kind of like, I have no problem somebody telling me you cannot cross the street on a red light as long as that's followed when it's green, then you can.
Right.
Otherwise, I get stuck there forever, right?
Yep. Luciano, thanks for joining us from
Luciano.
Argentina today. Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Kubevious's changes towards Guard. So I guess we'll be watching this for a while and see how it turns out. What was this? Oh, Gitgat. Not KitKat, but Gitgat. You know what KitKat is, right? Candy bar? Do you guys have that? Okay. All right.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's globalization, man. Everybody has everything. If only one country has it, that means that it's like, what's that Australian thing that we were discussing the other day?
Vegemite.
Yeah, if only it exists in one country, there's something wrong with it. That's how it is.
Okay. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. So this is a blah, blah, blah. So this repository contains policies that verify SCM. Currently, it's only supporting GitHub for the security. And the policies are valid using our friend OPA.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool. And I sent this off to some people to look at. And one of the first things was they got to the very first thing for usage. It's like, oh, you need a GitHub personal access token to run this. And they went, nope, not going to do it. I went, okay. But how do you know unless you can actually have access to read what's going on? It's only read, right? And it's open source here, so go through the code and trust the code and make sure you understand it before you do it. Now, assuming all that's...
What is the expectation? Not to give a tool access to access things that needs to access.
Exactly. Next. But anyway, set the environment variable, and then you can run it through a container, and then it gives you, I guess, a report. Yes, you get a report out of the backside. And you can also use the OPA CLI. Bless you. I have not set. I am going to set this up this weekend and run it against my Darren Pope org and just see how bad it is. I don't want to know, but whatever. Gets into 2FA, SSH keys, all the things. So
nice.
I thought it was a pretty cool little tool, and it's new-ish, like yesterday, newish. So.
Okay, so if it's new, not newish, that would be up to 3 hours for you.
Yeah. Maybe.
Arrived while we are streaming.
We've done that before. Let's go back here real quick. Can Kubevious be used with EKS? Yes.
Any cluster, yeah.
Any cluster at all.
I mean, it like all similar tools, it uses kubeconfig, right? If you can connect with kubectl, you can connect with Kubevious or any other desktop Kubernetes dashboard type of tool.
Yeah. A new language was launched this week. Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
It's Base.
I'm gonna
Not
keep
Bass.
calling it Bass.
It's base. And here's the reason why it's base, because the author says base is named after the sub, not the fish. Please do not think of the fish every time. It will eventually destroy me. So what is this? If you take a look at the example here, it's Lisp for scripting. I tried to get this set up to run and actually do a demo of it today, and I was unsuccessful for numbers of reasons. In order to run base, you have to have BuildKit D running. It's built on top of BuildKit D. And I failed at getting it installed.
How do you not get confused with all those brackets?
Okay. You have to understand Lisp, which I haven't done any Lisp since I stopped using Emacs in '99. So,
No, I understand. I understand that. I have some familiarity with it. That's not the problem. But kind of, don't you get confused with so many brackets? How much time would you spend trying to figure out which brackets you did and which brackets you didn't close?
that's what Emacs was for. It would tell you if you did.
Okay.
And all the editors would do it too. But anyway. It looks to be interesting. So the docs that are here on the site are a little different. If you go to the README, there's actually more information that's useful. The guy that wrote it, after 6 years working on Concourse, was feeling pretty unsatisfied and burned out. I wanted to solve CI/CD once and for all, but kept on being overwhelmed. Trust me, we're all there. Doesn't matter whether it's competitors for the day job or not. I think we're all like, oh, come on. How hard can this be? Core features. Anyway, why a new Lisp? He goes through all the different things here. It's a descendant of the kernel programming language. Okay. I'd forgotten about that one. And then Clojure was also influenced on it too. So, is it any good? Well, let's see. This one is months old, but primarily just days old. So, it's new. It's like really new. But it's another scripting language. If you want to do scripting in Lisp-like things,
yeah,
you can do it. It just makes me sad. I just saw that scroll by to where there were Git submodules. Anytime I see a Git submodule,
I freak out whenever I see them. I hate it.
So here's the reasons why you might be interested. You like to have a uniform stack between dev and CI. Well, that's what Dagger is doing now. Right? What's
aiming to do, yeah.
Aiming to do. You're sick of YAML and want to write code instead of config and templates. Okay, I know where you fall on this. You want to write config and templates.
Yeah. I might agree. Right?
If you can.
Yeah. So I'm not sick of YAML, but I am getting closer and closer to writing code instead of templates, which might be contradictory sounding, right? So I'm sick of Helm.
Okay.
Helm templating. I'm sick of it. I think it's ridiculous. I like YAML, and YAML, if YAML is not enough, then I don't want to do Helm or Helm-like templating. Go template or any other templating engine is horrible where it becomes complex, right? I mean, if you go back to, you remember kind of like when we were doing web pages with Javas and other server-side languages and then templating, and everybody, after a while, nobody understands what the heck is going on in those templates. It's an old problem.
Yep. That's the, well, like our website's a Hugo-based site. We have a template underneath, and parts of it are just miserable to work with.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so basically, if you can keep it a nice, clean config, you're good with that. But if you're having to start doing templates, it's like, just give me the code and let me generate it that way.
A few weeks from now, I'm actually publishing a video that will try to spin it in a way that maybe actually we should be using only YAML without any templates and without overlays, or none of those things.
Well, that sounds a bit controversial.
Yep. I found the tool.
Okay. You like to be able to audit or rebuild published artifacts. Okay, that one, or you're nostalgic about Lisp. This is about the only thing that really stands out to me. If I loved Lisp, then I'd be happy with this. But these other three aren't enough to knock me off.
Yeah, I don't think that non-Lisp lovers are going to be jumping into this.
No.
Which does not mean that there are not many Lisp lovers, but this is, for Lisp users. Otherwise, too many brackets.
Okay. Your video this week, monitoring, logging, and alerting.
Yes, unfortunate one, because Victor was so preoccupied to keep it short, because in the past people complained of the length of my videos, like, 45 minutes, that's too long. So I was so focused on keeping it short that I completely forgot about tracing. And OpenTelemetry as well. Version 2 will be coming at some moment in the future.
Life goes on, right?
Yep.
You said next week's video is going to be codespaces, which is good.
Mickey, who is not listening, unless Mickey fails to deliver the video, then it's going to be codespaces.
If Mickey doesn't deliver the video, it will be...
It will be Victor working over Sunday. And I will be evil now, and I prefer Mickey working over Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? A short week. I mean, there wasn't much news this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like...
Everybody's starting to take summer vacations now? Is that what it is?
No, June is all about conferences.
Oh.
Everybody decided to have... So I don't know if I mentioned that in the previous last week, Friday. Last week I made a record. 5 talks in a day. What do you say to that?
Well, they weren't all live, right?
Yeah, 2 were not live. Yeah, but live Q&A.
Live Q&A. So you still had to be in 5 places on Friday.
Yeah. I had, on one of the talks I was kind of, just a second. Okay, so where was I? Fun.
That's I mean, and then, well, of course, Europe starts going away last week of July. They'll show back up 2nd, 3rd, 4th week of September.
It's kind of, Europe is divided between July and August. Some countries July, some August. Everybody comes to us in July, and then all of us go somewhere else in August. That's the rule. You cannot find if you need to buy something, you cannot find the shops open. Kind of, that's how bad it is here in August.
Because everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Different way to look at supply chain issues, I guess.
Exactly. No issues in October.
Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else today, we might just wrap up a little bit early, and I can go back and finish up some more items.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea for today. I wish I could go on vacation, but can't do it just yet. So anyway, we will be back next week. Oh, wait, let me ask you this, since I have you here. Did you already trim the video from yesterday?
No, I will do that.
No, don't trim it yet. Dump
cannot trim it yet.
Don't, yeah, okay, you probably, all right. Have here, hang on a second. I can't get into it right now. Dump the questions. There was a question that somebody said yesterday. I'm going to try to recreate it here real quick on the fly, but I want you to dump the chat log before you do that. The gentleman was asking about using VPSs and how to do, should I use the private IP, public IP, going through all that. So we answered that top question, but then his responses that were later down in the thread, that's what I want to call back on. Because we were talking about on-call being able to be self-managed. So I can download it and I can run it myself for whatever reason that I need it to be. And his answer was similar to that. It's like, we don't have the budget to go to AWS or Google. The only thing I can afford right now is this. So that's, I mean, for enterprises, that's usually not a big deal, or even medium to large businesses, but for small businesses, they may not be able to afford that spend with the big three, if you will, or the big six worldwide.
Yeah, but then why big three?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that top tier to where the spend is not as locked in. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
To where you can predict I know with the VPS is going to cost me $75 a month. I need 6 of them, so that's whatever the math is on that. $400. No, whatever it is.
$450.
$450.
No, I don't know.
Right, whatever it is, right? But at least I know that's all it's going to cost me. I'm not going to be surprised by anything. So I want to get that. I meant to pull it this morning when I got home and I forgot to do it. But there were a lot of questions that we didn't get to at the end yesterday, so we should pull some of those out. But I wanted to get his specifically out because his answers also go back to, did we talk about the dark matter? You and I were talking about it offline, but I don't think we talked about it here.
Yeah, I think so.
Where it's basically you are the 1/10 of 1%. You're always looking at running the newest and everything else, but at the exact opposite end, the 1/10 of 1% on the opposite end of the spectrum, are people still writing COBOL on mainframe and making a lot more money than you are.
Yeah, most people are making more money than I am.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is there's a percentage, whatever that magic percentage is, of people chasing or believing they're chasing the newest thing. But then there's all these other businesses that are just running and people are working there and, providing jobs and not doing anything exciting or fun, but making money hand over fist. Still using old tech, right? That's the reason. So when the guy asked about VPSs yesterday, that's when it sort of was going through my head of, we don't have to use new tech. We don't have to.
I mean, most of new companies that switch to a new tech switch it under pressure. So it really depends on whether you are under pressure or will be under pressure, right? Like a good example is banks. Until like 5 years ago, banks did not really want to use new tech in any form of way. And now kind of like everybody's hurrying to go to cloud and to do Kubernetes stuff and so on and so forth because the competition changed.
Right. 12 years ago, 2010, that wasn't happening. Even though cloud was 3 to 4 years in.
Because if everybody is equally old, right? Or
who cares?
Everybody's on the same level, who cares? You're competing on different levels, right? Like banks were not competing on tech. Now they are. And the same thing goes for many other industries, right? So, yeah, you can be very successful with everything based on COBOL if others are also based on COBOL.
Yeah, that's a different conversation for another. But anyway, dump the chat log because I do want to get that, or I can do it now that I remember it.
You think that I will remember it?
No, you won't remember. So don't trim it. I'll tell you once I've got it, and then I'll tell you you can trim it.
I will not remember to trim it either, so it's all good.
I'll trim it. I'll take care of trimming it.
No problem there.
Christopher, thanks. Yes, it is going to be a good weekend because I only have 2 episodes to edit. So that's a really good weekend. Hey, look, you joke about AS400s. Those things can transaction process like nobody's business. I love me some AS400. Contracts for those right now are really good, by the way. But we're not going to talk about that today. Thanks, everybody, for being here with us live. If you are here with us live, go ahead and do the YouTube things. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And then podcast comes out, or Victor's video, some way or another, will be there Monday.
Oh, now you can join the channel? Oh, no, you didn't set it up yet. You didn't set
I
it
did.
up, right?
Yeah, I did. Oh, wait, no. No, I didn't set up a membership on the channel here yet. No. We can do super chats. We can do all that stuff. I haven't set up a membership yet. That was on my list for this weekend. But no, you can do super chats now. You can do all the other things. You can watch ads, which helps offset some stuff. I think we're now up to $4 after a week.
Hey, it will be $10 in no time.
Yep. And I need to do that. Well, maybe. I was debating, but I'll probably just do it anyway. And let's see. I think, yeah, I will go with this. Most hospitals and healthcare, most are, unless they signed a contract with Epic, and which they've outsourced everything to Epic, at least in the States. Epic is the 800-pound gorilla. How do I know that? Because both of the medical systems, actually all 3 medical systems that my wife visits are all on Epic. So we can see, so I can see the records in one login place, and I can see it for all of her different places she goes. Different conversation for a different day. All right. Video on Monday, podcast on Wednesday. We'll be back here next Friday. No Thursday, AMA next week. That's the off week for us. So, I forgot about this. This should apply to you. Happy Father's Day. Right?
Yeah.
I assume Spain.
I have no idea.
So is that not a Spain thing too?
I have no idea. Probably it is, but...
Okay. It's Father's Day. So at least in the States, and then Victor, why don't you make it a thing in Spain? So that way your daughter can just take care of you all day.
They just left me. They left for a trip without me 2 hours ago. So that's how much Father's Day means to them.
Okay. It's like, Dad, we love you so much, we're just going to leave you alone.
Yeah, kind of, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to Berlin Sunday. Okay, we're going on a trip then today, Friday.
Okay. We rambled long enough. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We'll talk to you again next week.